Hello everyone, how you doing? Welcome back. I hope you're all doing really well today. I'm Lindsay, your host of the Heavy Metal Journal and writer for Lambgoat and the Moshville Times. And today I am back with yet another New Metal Monday where I talk about my favourite new releases of the week. And today I have 5 brand new albums that I want to talk about this week. And I'm not going to mess around, I'm just going to jump straight into these. Okay, so first up on my list I have Leper Colony with Those of the Morbid. And this is the second studio album from the death metal band. Now, this is a mix of Swedish, German, and a little bit of American old school death metal all rolled into one. So you can expect a lot of slamming, pounding riffs, dense bass lines, blistering blast beats. The drums in this are thunderous and really powerful demonic growls and screams. Now, what I really like about my old school death metal, specifically Swedish old school death metal, is the amount of groove that underpins it, and there's a lot of groove in this album. But not only is it old school death metal, there's quite a lot of thrash elements and a little bit of hardcore thrown into the mix as well. So there's a lot going on, but what you can guarantee is how brutally heavy this is. Plus, lyrically and thematically, it's all about horror movies. So you can expect a lot of really nasty, grimy, disgusting lyrics that pairs really well with that groovy, chugging, incredibly heavy old school death metal. I absolutely loved their self-titled debut, so when I heard that they were releasing another album, I was all over that. I love my Swedish old school death metal. The chuggier, the groovier, the better, and that is exactly what you get with this. So if you are a fan of the likes of Paganizer, Bolt Thrower, Obituary, that kind of sound, this one is definitely for you, but check it out, especially if you like old school death metal with a lot of horror elements thrown into the mix as well. Don't sleep on it, definitely check this one out. Okay, so next up on my list I have probably the biggest band to release an album this week, and that's Hate with Bellum Regis. And this is the 13th studio album from the Polish blackened death metal band. I adore this band, and every single time they release an album, it just seems to get better and better. And I have no idea how they manage to outdo themselves each and every time, especially 13 albums into their career. But this is a fantastically brutal yet beautiful album. Now, the album title is translated as A War of Kings or A War of Royalty, and thematically and lyrically it's all about power struggles and everything that comes with that. But this is an incredibly aggressive yet captivating record. Now, this is darkly melancholic and ferocious with a lot of really harsh melodies, spiraling riffs, screaming solos, thunderous drums, and really cool chugging bass lines. But it's the vocals that really caught my attention on this album. They are so demonically powerful and guttural, they just rip right through you. Plus you have the added bonus of the monastic chanting, the orchestration, and this really eerie atmosphere. So if you are a fan of the likes of Necrophobic, Gods Dethroned, or Sulphur Aeon, you're definitely going to want to get onto this. But I also love my blackened death metal, especially when it has this very evil, harsh, melodic energy about it, and that's exactly what you get with this. Plus the album artwork is really impactful and stunning. Definitely check this one out. Okay, so next up on my list I have Nightfall with Children of Eve. And this is the 11th studio album from the melodic black death metal band from Greece. I love my Hellenic melodic black metal, so when I saw that Nightfall were bringing out a new album, I was all over that, and again, I was not disappointed whatsoever. Now, don't get me wrong, this is very unnerving when you first listen to it. They have like this weird, possessed narration that repeats over and over again that sounds incredibly creepy, but when it launches into the actual album itself, it really explodes out of nowhere. It is so captivating and rousing, and it has this very dark, ominous presence which is incredibly muscular. So you do have all of your tremolo picking and your blast beats and your screaming solos and really captivating vocals, but it's the harsh melodies that really hook you in. The hooks in this are unbelievable, and it's an incredibly catchy, addictive record. Now, it is primarily guttural vocals throughout, but on occasion you do have the female vocalizations, which are very light and otherworldly, which presents an absolutely fantastic contrast with those really deep, demonic guttural vocals. So if you are a fan of the likes of Septic Flesh, Rotten Christ, with a little bit of Moonspell thrown into the mix as well, because there's a little bit of a gothic doom kind of edge to it too, this one is definitely for you. Plus that album artwork is absolutely stunning. Definitely check this one out. Okay, so next up on my list, I have Fire and Holt with Night Eternal. I have probably pronounced that incorrectly. And this is the third studio album from the epic, atmospheric, melodic black metal dungeon synth project from the UK. That is quite a mouthful to say. Now, this is fronted by Tom Odell, who you might recognise from Dwarrow Delph and Wraithfire, so you can expect a lot of grandiosity and opulence and epic sprawling journey, but with a lot of heavy metal elements, specifically black metal for this particular project. So you have all of your tremolo picking, you've got your blast beats, and you've got your very venomous rasping screams and growls. But when the dungeon synth comes into play, it comes in hard. There's a lot of really cool soaring melodies, a lot of synth, which is haunting, but also atmospheric and rousing. Plus, of course, it's Tolkien themed, there's a lot of fantasy themes in this, and it takes you on this massive, epic journey of adventure, battles, and mysticism. Now, if you are into your fantasy and Tolkien related metal, you're definitely going to want to get onto this. But what I really like is the fact that he's experimented so hard with the dungeon synth side of things and teamed that with the black metal to create this very dynamic, addictive, catchy sound. This is a sprawling soundscape of an album. It only has 5 tracks altogether, and I think the shortest track is about 8.5 minutes long. So you are in for a journey when it comes to this album, but it's a journey that you will never forget, and I absolutely loved this. So if you do like his other projects, such as Dwarrow Delph, Wraithfire, or if you liked last year's Belore album, you're definitely going to want to get onto this. But it's captivating, atmospheric, rousing, but brutally heavy at the same time. Definitely check this one out. Okay, so last up on my list, but certainly by no means least, I have Labyrinthus Stellarum with Rift in Reality. And this is the third studio album from the atmospheric cosmic black metal band from Ukraine. This is stunning. This album completely blew me away, and I cannot stop listening to it. It is cosmic, interstellar, otherworldly, but ridiculously heavy at the same time. It is black metal, so you do have your tremolo picking and your blast beats, but it's also teamed with breakdowns. These are face-melting, incredibly heavy, crushing breakdowns that just appear out of nowhere and completely annihilate everything. But when you team that with the very eerie sci-fi synths, it is incredible. Now, the other thing that I really liked about this album is how they play about with the vocal styles. So yes, you do have your guttural growls and your rasping screams, but you've also got your clean vocals, which again are very extraterrestrial and otherworldly, which creates a fantastic contrast between the two. So when you combine that clean vocal style with the synths and the interstellar themes, it's an incredibly fully immersive album that I cannot get over. It's only 37 minutes long, but it seems to go on forever, but in the best way possible. And it's one of those albums that you can't help but listen to over and over again. It is dynamic, incredibly well put together, and even though there's a lot of synth and a lot of sci-fi moments throughout, it doesn't drown out the metal side of things. It is perfectly balanced, and it's a fantastic album. It twists, it turns, it gets really quite ambient and hypnotic at points as well, and it's just an absolutely fantastic album, and I was not expecting it to sound the way it did, but I'm so glad I listened to this. This is definitely one of my favourite albums of the year so far. So if you're a fan of the likes of the Browning, Eldamar, or last year's Vorga album, you're definitely going to want to get onto this, but I absolutely loved it. The album artwork is incredibly striking too, and I just cannot stop listening to this. Definitely check this one out. And that's it for this week's New Metal Monday. Once again, comment down below to let me know what you think of today's records, and if you have any of your own recommendations, please let me know and I will get them added to my list. Make sure to check out my description box for the Spotify playlist that I have down there, which I update with all of the albums that I talk about on my New Metal Monday videos, and that gets updated every single Monday when one of these videos goes live. So if you use Spotify, make sure to follow that. But if you don't use Spotify, I have also included the band's Bandcamp links or their YouTube channels, just so you can find the music that I'm talking about as easily as possible. If you want to follow me on social media, all of my handles are down there as well. I am a lot more active on social media, and after this video goes live, I'm going to spend some time trying to catch up with the comments on my YouTube channel. I am so sorry that I've not been keeping up to date with my comments for weeks now, but I plan on doing that today. Thank you all so much. I really appreciate your support as always. I hope you all have a fantastic week, and I will see you very soon in my next video.